Hi, I'm Felicia.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is Pretty Culture.
In honor of Women's History Month, we have decided to upload a variety of videos regarding issues that impact the lives of women. The first one that we're doing is reproductive justice.
Right. And to start us off, we're going to give this the basic academic definition. Reproductive justice is a phrase that was coined in the 1980s in the U.S., and it's about organizations that promotes the rights of women of color. It's a concept that links reproductive rights to social justice.
And so reproductive justice in a nutshell is being able to choose when and when not and under what circumstances women decide to conceive and have children. Angela Davis talks about voluntary motherhood, choosing when you are able to have a baby. And most of the things that I will be talking about will be coming from Angela Davis, Women, Race, and Class, one of her landmark books on Black feminist theory. And so generally when we hear things in the media or popular culture about reproductive justice, it's surrounding the issues of abortion rights and birth control. Is it morally okay to have an abortion? Should it be legally sanctioned to have an abortion and things like that? But today we'd like to focus the attention on women who would like to have children, being able to have a child. And so Angela Davis in this chapter 12 of her book discusses sterilization and sterilization practices in the United States, in particular sterilization of women of color, poor women of color, primarily Puerto Rican women, Native American women, and African American women. And so these sterilization practices led to over 35% of Puerto Rican women on the island of Puerto Rico in their childbearing years to be sterilized. And so, you know, women, when women's rights were starting to form, and some of these feminism and feminist theories were starting to form, women of color sometimes stayed away from these large struggles because they felt as if skeptical of, you know, why are we advocating for these things? For example, Angela Davis talks about genocide. You know, when we talk about abortion rights, is that just a way of saying that we are trying to discreetly propose genocide onto women of color?
Right. And moving on from the place where we're talking about being skeptical, there is actually an organization called the National Black Pro-Life Coalition, and it's about restoring life, family, and hope. And regardless of being pro-life and whether you're pro-life or pro-choice or whatever it is, I do like the fact that they are giving voice to women that sometimes socially, maybe it is seen academically, but socially, you don't always see that voice. You see women talking about, you know, my body, my choice, and I want the right to do this, that, and the other, but that also should include the right to have children.
Yes.
And so that's sometimes a voice that's not heard. And I would like to bring up some quotes also from former abortion clinic owner. You can see her post everywhere, be it Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. She's very active. Her name is Carol Everett, and I would just like to share this quote. She said, "We had a whole plan to sell abortions called sex education, break down their natural modesty, separate them from their parents and their values, and become the sex expert in their lives. So they turn to us, and we'd give them a low-dose birth control that they get pregnant on." Or a defective condom, because we didn't buy the most expensive condoms. We bought the cheapest condoms. Our goal was 3 to 5 abortions from every girl between the ages of 13 and 18. And these were practices that, of course, controversial, but I just like the fact that that voice is given out there, and we can now talk about these things like sterilization and not just focus on the women that may, you know, pro-choice and this is my body, and I agree with that is your body, but shedding so much light on that, it kind of ignores so many women that whether they have fertility issues or whether they want to have children, want to have many children, you know, it kind of sheds light on that.
Yeah, so in conclusion, we would just like, as we discuss things such as women's rights and reproductive justice, to also bring attention to women who desire to have children or large numbers of children. They also have the right to have children and to have as many children.
And the fact that it was a part of our country's history to deny certain people those rights. Exactly. So it leaves us skeptical when, you know, when these movements are so, like, headstrong. It kind of leaves you skeptical, particularly, you know, women of color, because that did happen in our history.
Yes. Okay. So this is the book if you want to check it out. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Stay tuned for more.